Jaden Billingham, here he is, the young superstar.
It's semi-final time. Shane Thompson takes on Jaden Billingham for a place in tonight's Pro Series 8 final. Shane Thompson, former Ultimate Pool #1, multiple Pro Series winner, takes on the young superstar, still winning titles at under 18 age group and already a professional pool player, and finding himself at the business end of this professional event. One of the best young prospects in a long time.
And my first time commentating on him.
A very entertaining player. No surprise for a young player to find he plays the game in a pretty positive way. Also a very fearless way. That's the thing about young players. They haven't had so many of the battle scars that some of the more established pros have got. Play the game with a bit more freedom.
Don't worry, that will all come along the years.
Give it time. Everyone was here once.
Yep.
Although I don't think many of us were in this position at this age, playing in a professional final. So this is a race to 8, as we've seen throughout the Pro Series. 50-minute match clock, 30-second shot clock. Shane Thompson, one of the big names of the game. There's a period a couple of seasons back where he was winning everything. Not so many titles of late, but still one of the best players in the world. We see the red go wide, so Shane Thompson to the table for the first time.
The safe cracker.
It's been 3 full years since the safe cracker has opened the safe and won an Ultimate Pool Pro Series title. The last event was event 8 of the 2022 season. Now find ourselves 3 years on from that, and event 8 of the 25 season.
I think the last time he's won it, was it the World Doubles with Carl Sutton? Not the World Championships, just gone, the one before 2024.
Yeah, he'll have won some other stuff for sure in that time, but not the Pro Series titles. Very consistent player and a very good cueist. It's going to be a tough match for Jaden. Shane is a very all-round player. He's been there and done everything. The fact that his young opponent throws a few clearances at him isn't going to faze him.
Thompson, of course, beat Chris Melling in the last round. Quarterfinals, finally put a stop to the Yorkshire magician.
Yeah, he did the thing that nobody has managed so far this weekend. That winning run stretching back right to Friday afternoon for Chris Melling. Good performance from Shane Thompson, 8-6 in that match. To look at the position for the 8-ball.
Very solid from Thompson.
And this is what happens. If you miss a ball against Shane, you know what you're going to get. The referee, Matt Ward, gathers up the balls. 1-0 to the safecracker. It's been a hard-fought event. He's beaten some good players along the way, has Shane Thompson. 8-4 against Sean Sharkey in the first round. 8-2 against Simon Fitzsimmons in the last 32. 8-2 against Josh Kane in the last 16. A man who himself had been involved in some high-quality stuff this weekend. And then that result we were just talking about, 8-6 against last night's champion, Chris Melling. Finally put a stop to Chris's hopes of doing the double.
He's been mixing over the last couple of years his Q Sports events as well, though, Shane. Playing in the States. Going further afield as well, isn't he, Mark?
Yeah, he's been taking advantage of the opportunities on offer. He's spent a lot of time playing Ultimate Pool USA events, also playing in some Chinese hayball events.
When he was in China, did they call him the prawn cracker?
Very hard to switch between the different Q sports, but equally it's very hard to turn down the chances for these top guys where there's the opportunity to travel the world and play in different events. For the most part, it's not doing many people many favours switching around. Chris Melling is generally the exception rather than the rule for being able to play multiple sports. He won that first frame. Shane Thompson breaks off in the second. Stopped in his tracks. He has made some balls, but just surveying his estate. Very consistent at clearing from the break once he gets into his stride, Shane Thompson. Also plays a lot of big money games over long races. Very used to a long day of pool, even though he's had to play a lot of pool over the last couple of days to get through to the semi-final. Bringing back these balls nicely. Wasn't a bad layout after the break, but it was one of those ones where you needed to be fairly precise with your position. Well, Shane's normally very good when he's playing well. He's having really good control of the cue ball. Doesn't overhit the ball, just cues every shot. Gets an effortless power onto the ball. That's a good shot. Needed to just flick that 8 ball away from the yellow. And this has opened up nicely because he can take the ball along to the top right next if he wants to. It can go either way, could go.
Yeah, clever shot.
Left centre,
Sean,
left cushion
Shane.
first. Just wanted to force an angle to aim low on this yellow, just force high above it. And the angle he's got either for the middle pocket, or he can just run it in straight for the ball up the left cushion. Yeah, it did have an angle to get above it, so that just made it slightly easier. This has been very good from Thompson. Took advantage from the Jaden Billingham miss in the first frame. Straight back at it off his own break in the second frame.
Certainly in the mood, Shane Thompson.
Right. Very good clearance completed. 9 minutes used up for the first 2 frames. Largely that first frame which went a bit slower. Thompson following up with one from his own break. Just a reminder to his young opponent of the kind of standard he's going to need to come with. Winner of this match will go through to tonight's final, coming up at around 10 o'clock tonight. Before then, we've got action from the Women's Pro Series final and the Next Gen final. As we get over to the event involving Frankie Gillen and Dave Waller. Chance for these guys to get their moment in the limelight. Frankie Gillen, a player that's been around in the game for a long time, he's really put the effort in travelling the country to play in these events. A chance for him to get his moment on the stream. So back in the main arena, Jaden Billingham 2-0 down, breaks off in frame 3.
Extension call.
We know how good Jaden Billingham is. What he's got to do is turn up with a consistency of game. You can see from the way Shane's playing, he's not going to get multiple chances in many frames. When he gets to the table, needs to get the job done in the one visit. Saw the standard of last night's final involving Chris Melling and John Chambers. It's an example of how few mistakes you have to make. John Chambers really didn't do a whole lot wrong in that match. Probably no more than about 2 things that he'd have wanted to do differently, even in hindsight. Still finished up a 7-6 loser. Slightly messy layout, even though the balls are all spread out quite well. This is why I tend to give it a bit of thought. Even though nothing's that close to anything else, there's just enough traffic around the place. You've got to take the balls in the right order. Just wants to draw this ball back slightly when he pots it into the top right corner. Hold position for the middle of the 3 reds. So he's just looking there where he'd want to play that shot from. So electing to play the left-hand ball first and then the right-hand red. And yet again, misses late in a clearance.
Yeah, getting a habit. One he needs to shake.
Generally, you feel that the younger players just aren't very fazed by this kind of occasion, even though some measure it's quite a big moment, a professional semi-final. But obviously, you wouldn't be human if you didn't feel some degree of pressure. Because Shane Thompson's been here and done this so much, it's not quite the same pressure on him. Probably ideally going to take 3 yellows at the bottom of the table and then use the 2 at the top to link up for the 8 ball at the end. This is where he's very good. Clearances like this where it's all about controlling the cue ball. Very few better in the world than Shane Thompson.
Extension call.
Ideally might have taken that ball that he's just played, and that ball has just missed, in fact, as the penultimate yellow. Surprising miss.
Yeah, they're both at it.
He just flicked a bit of side on that. I think he just ended up turning over the ball just a little bit more than he was expecting. Why he'll be particularly frustrated is not just losing the frame if he does go on to lose it, but he's not punished Jaden for the careless mistake that he'd made. As he comes back and has a second go, not dissimilar shot from the one he tried to leave himself when he was last at the table.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it a second time, Jaden. Or is he? Ooh, slid off the jaw. Just a split second now. I thought he was going to catch that little knuckle.
Surprise miss from Jaden Billingham the first time he was in, and then an even more surprising miss from Shane Thompson to fail to take the counter clearance.
Oh, 2-1.
That will help Jaden settle into the match. He should really have been 3-0 behind. He's also beaten some good players en route to this position. Rob Warne 8-6 in the last 64. Josh Dew has 8-6 in the last 32. And Declan Brennan 8-4 in the last 16. Following up with Luke Gilbert 8-6 in the quarters. As we pop away over to the ladies semi between 𝗪𝗁𝗘𝗏 and Danielle Randall, which was tied at 5 apiece, but Mary's just added 1, so she finds herself on the hill. Big prize for both of these players, a place in tonight's final, and a place in tonight's final against Becky Watkins, making her debut in an Ultimate Pool professional final. So whoever comes through this match will on paper be the favourite. Doesn't always work out like that. They'll know they'll have a good chance of the silverware.
And that was our view from this arena to where Danielle is playing.
Just a reminder of the running order for the rest of the evening. After this match, we'll have the Women's Pro Series 8 final. Then we'll have the Next Gen final. Then we'll have the final of this event, Pro Series 8. We know the identity of one of those finalists in the women's side, Becky Watkins. She's the only one through. Mary Talbot and Danielle Randall playing for the last place, and then when they've finished, we'll get underway with the second semi-final of this Pro Series 8 event. The other semi-final, Aaron Davis against Phil Harrison. It's going to be a different type of game to this one, but two granite players, two very good players. So 4 Englishmen left in the draw. All have played for the English national team at some point. Shane Thompson and Aaron Davis currently play for the men's national team. Phil Harrison has for many years in the past, but doesn't anymore. And Jaden Billingham has been smashing it up at under 18 level. Seems like normal service has been resumed for the safecracker. So go for the deep screw and try and get good position on the 8 ball. Well, he does, and he's missed his second ball of the match. Missed into both top corner pockets now. Let's have another look at this. Even with the pace, you didn't expect him to miss that.
No, it's a bizarre one there from Shane.
Definitely doesn't want to be doing this. This is going to be giving Jaden a lot of confidence. Well, that's turned out nice as well. Flicked out one of the difficult balls. Could be a big moment for Shane. Down to just his last ball. Didn't really see anything going wrong at that point.
Extension call.
Decides to take the lower ball. Would kind of like to get the higher ball out of the way, but it's just a more difficult pot as we see him miss a ball as well.
What is going on with these two?
They're struggling with the top corner pockets of this table. It's been let off after let off. Now this time Shane wants to be absolutely sure. Obviously no way of missing the yellow, but wants to get good position on the 8 ball. Oh, that's not a good shot.
No.
He's trying to screw straight back. He's just gone into the side cushion, not made a good contact.
Big shot here for Shane Thompson.
Yeah, whereas that last ball shouldn't really have been missable, the one he missed to let Jaden back. This black definitely is missable.
Yeah.
Much better from Shane Thompson.
Clean as a whistle. I mean, that was like, you know, that's a tough ball. And especially when you've missed a couple like you have in the previous frames, or during that frame and then the one before. But that's the best way that he can forget about that last yellow he missed, because he's actually ended up winning that frame and also potting a good black. But Jaden now, it's going to reverse over to him now, thinking, well, have I just missed that red ball into the top corner of the other side?
Well, particularly as Jaden ended up taking the simpler of the 2 pots that were available to him.
Yeah.
Presumably so he didn't miss it. Oh, that's a real let-off for Shane Thompson. 3-1 he'll be much happier with. Could have found himself back at 2-all, which, having got off to a good start in the match, he'd have been annoyed by. He's somebody that will show you a bit during the match. Not afraid to show what he thinks of the shot as he sits in his chair. But at the same time, even though he sort of looks like he can be affected by negative things happening. He's also extremely good at just pressing on from there, even though he may look frustrated. He hasn't got to where he's got to in the game by dwelling on things and allowing one problem to compound into another one.
Thank you. Frame 5. Jaden Billingham strike.
So possibly should have been 2-all, but Jaden Billingham steps up to break in frame 5, 1-3 behind. Finds the ball. So Red's his choice.
Red ball's in play.
Ball to the top left-hand corner. Ball below that he can take to the centre. Question of what he does with the ball on the right-hand side. Just looking at whether he could screw into it straight away. That's a lovely shot. How much spin has he got on that ball? Cue ball absolutely fizzing onto the cushion. You get to take out a clearance in one visit. That's certainly something he'd like to get going with.
Extension call.
I'd like to take the red at the top of the table, but I don't know if you can quite see enough of it. He's given it a hard look a couple of times, so he concluded he can. And a good double in the end. Now he's sorted out all the balls at the top and the 8 ball's in an accessible spot, so he can just focus on the comparatively simple stuff. Just got one more mid-distance pot to get really into prime position.
And that was his big pot. These 3 reds, easy. Black ball available, so looking at 3-2 now. Take either or really. To roll into the middle, and whichever one he rolls into the middle, he'll take the next one in the corner.
This is exactly what Jaden needed to do.
Let's just stay in touch.
So 3-2 now.
Right.
It's a disability final here. Frankie Gillen, 3-0 up against Dave Waller. Frankie's been round for a very long time. Down in the south of England, well, southeast of England. And Frankie going well there. Hill here between 𝗪𝗁𝗆, Danielle Randall, one of those women will be in the final later tonight with Becky Watkins. So Shane Thompson to break off frame number 6. Straight in off in the corner.
Billingham for goal. Time running.
There are glimpses of how good this could be from Shane, but it's just one or two things not quite tight enough at the moment. Played well in that match against Chris Melling in the quarterfinals. In theory, obviously, this should be an easier match, although you certainly can't be thinking like that. Jaden's earned his right to be in the semi-final. Jaden's also played a lot of pool recently because he's been over in Ireland playing in that World Championships, and because he was doing so well in the age group events, he's just played a lot of frames of competitive pool. Great warm-up.
Not in the main World Championship. It's quite bizarre.
It's his last year as an under-18, isn't it? So, although there are more age groups to go, he can play under 23 still for obviously a few years.
Extension call.
For me, I wouldn't. I think if you did that and don't play in the main World Championships, I think you're throwing away 5 years of potential being a world champion because he is that good. You know, if you told Luke Littler not to bother, say wait till you're 23, really? That's my take on that.
Yeah, I mean, the prestige is way higher, of course, for the main event than for the age group events. The advantage of the age group events is it gives you practice at winning things, because if you're this standard, you're quite likely to dominate in a way. Luke Gilbert, for example, was dominating when he was an under-23 international, combining it in his case as well with being a pro, as is Jaden. By the way, he's at an age where probably has less responsibilities in life than a lot of the players, and is able to dedicate himself to playing a lot of pool. He's taking these well, just coming around to look. Leaves the cue ball somewhere near the middle of the top of the table. Should have decent access to the ball over the left centre for his last yellow.
Another reason as well, you think about it, right, another, what's it, 5 years when he gets to 23? That's 5 years of players that are coming through. Look what's coming behind. Owen Bradford. All these players, you know, they're going to be 18 and 19, and maybe they'll go straight for the World Championship, the big one.
Yeah, those kind of things will be a dilemma for him in the months to come. Right now, though, he's an Ultimate Pool pro, and he's on level terms with another very famous Ultimate Pool pro in the shape of Shane Thompson. So we come over to the deciding frame of the match between 𝗪𝗁𝗘 and Danielle Randall. This is the semi-final of Women's Pro Series 8. This for a place in tonight's final. Danielle Randall at the table with a decent chance at a clearance. 𝗪𝗁𝗘's obviously missed. 5 reds are down. Danielle got the chance for the counter clearance here. Balls aren't badly positioned, but obviously the pressure of 6-all in a semi-final, nothing is super easy.
Yeah, they're all there.
Into a 45-second shot clock here, so Danielle understandably taking her time to make absolutely short. Ideally, if she was straighter, she'd want to go over to the left-hand side and take the 2 yellows on the left, but you're potentially having to take the one in the middle first.
What a break that is from Jaden Billingham. But where'd you go? Easy yellow starter, but look at the yellow at the bottom of the table, tucked behind the red. Just not such an easy starter on the reds.
Extension call.
So that's your dilemma.
Yeah, take your medicine. The difficult shot first, I'll guarantee your colour. I feel like you've probably got to take yellows. It's a bit risky
I don't
to
know.
miss.
Yeah, I get that, but you think, well, the first red ball's like a black ball. But yeah, I think you have got to be a bit sensible. And that's what Jaden's been. He's going to opt to use one of the other yellows to nudge that out, and you can see he's looking to see where he wants to cannon that yellow into that red to get it out of the way and make that yellow potable. Or if you can just hit the cushion just before that yellow and flick the top of it and bring it away from the red. This for the final for Danielle Randall. In it goes. Fist pump. Danielle Randall wins a titanic battle there against 𝗪𝗁𝗘, 7-6. Great semi-final. And it will be Danielle Randall who will meet Becky Watkins in tonight's final, which will be coming up after this.
Exciting times for both of those players. Danielle, a former Ultimate Pool champion. Becky Watkins looking for her first pro title. Danielle will start as favourite, but is it written in the stars that Becky's fairy tale run will continue? She's made fairly light work in terms of the scorelines against her 4 opponents so far in this tournament. Speaking of making light work, Jaden Billingham seems to have woken up now. This has been a much better standard of play in the last couple of frames. Another frame on the board in quick time. 4-3 now to the young man. So we cut back over to the disability final. First to 5, Frankie Gillen at the table, 4-0 to the good. Dave Waller's going to have to win all 5 of the remaining frames if he wants to get back into it. All the pressure on Dave Waller, although in a sense when you slip that far behind maybe the pressure disappears for a moment. Big moment for both of these players. Not a bad chance there, so the 3 yellows at the bottom of the table slightly covered. You can fashion away, but you've got to take them in the right order.
Thank you. Frame, mate. Shane Thompson to Ray. Frame by 4 frames to 3. foul. Billingham for a ball. Time running.
So back in action on the main table. Shane Thompson breaks off. You can see from his face what he thinks about that break. Started off all looking quite smooth for Shane, but suddenly he finds himself 4-3 down. Doesn't seem to be getting many of the chances.
Yellow ball's in play.
Shane lines up the 11 ball down the left rail. Looking to roll forward for the yellow 4 ball. Oh, like yellow 9 ball, I should say.
Extension call.
Shane just lining up the yellow 10 ball. Shall we see either playing the 15 to the bottom right hand corner or the ball to the bottom left hand corner. So yellow 15 to the centre, then 13 down to the bottom right. Clearance this from Jaden, and again Shane frozen in his chair. Now for a moment he'll have been ruining the fact he wasn't further ahead in this match. Now he'll be ruining the fact that he's behind and struggling to get chances. So 8 ball down, Jaden Billingham 5-3 ahead. As he sits in his chair, Jaden Billingham will be a whole lot happier with the way things have panned out. So we get back over to the disability final where Dave Waller is on the 8 ball but struggling to find a pocket for it. So Frankie Gillen to the table, just needs this frame for the title. 4-0 up in this race to 5.
Thank you. Frame 9. Jaden Billingham to break.
So as we rejoin the main arena table, Jaden Billingham breaks off in frame 9 with a 2-frame lead. well, not the best break, but I guess at least it's finished fairly safe from his perspective. And now Shane's going to be bemoaning his luck when he finally gets to the table. Cue ball's welded to the cushion. There are a couple of shots he can go after, but none are very tempting.
Extension call.
So just plays the safety shot. Jaden also not tempted by going for anything. The ball was really pretty messy. Big cluster over on the right hand side. Neither player really wants to be the first person in. One more safety shot available in behind the black. Once Shane plays off this yellow, if he gets tight in behind the black, it's going to be hard for Jaden to play the same shot. Now this is more difficult for Jaden. The containing safety back to the top cushion no longer available. You can put a yellow to the left centre. It is an option just to take yellows and then see what happens. May find some attacking route to continue, or can just hold stations and promote some of his own balls. That's what he does. Punts another red into that danger area. Well, this isn't the worst outcome for yellows, because most of the yellows are the balls on the outside. Referee Matt Ward just confirming that that yellow ball on the right hand side cushion is frozen to the rail, just in case Jaden was minded to play a safety shot into it. Something else is going to need to hit a cushion. Well, he's played it at pace to make sure the white ball hits a cushion. This is one of those frames where Shane's just going to have to be patient for a minute. Nothing really good he can do. In fact, it's very hard to see what you do with reds generally. You could have ball in hand and it's still a tricky position. From Jaden's point of view, the priority is just to keep all the yellows in possible position, so that if he does get some kind of chance, maybe if he was to extract a foul or a miss, he wants to make sure that all of the balls are there for the taking. That's why he's moving out one of the potentially difficult ones. Not quite as played, and if you're trying to get the yellow right over the pocket, but it doesn't really matter too much. Shane's really in a situation where he's relying on Jaden to make a mistake. He's just got to make sure he's stayed in the frame so that if Jaden does make a mistake, he can capitalise on it. It's very hard to play any kind of shot that's putting any serious pressure on. Attempts a pot, although I think he was going to love what came next. His plan would have been to play the red that's in the middle of the top of the table off the cluster of balls into the right centre, and hope that he could play it with enough pace to open everything up. It's possible that would have worked. Unpredictable outcome though. Either way, the first ball's gone wide, so we're not going to find out just yet. What Jaden doesn't want to do is leave access to that ball, the red that's in the middle of the table at the top half, doesn't want to leave Shane high on that with an angle to play it into the right centre. Down here is fine. He doesn't mind if Shane moves the ball. He just doesn't want it used to play off his yellow. And that's a decent shot. Shane's just trying to get enough balls near that pocket that he can play something positive. There's now one yellow, which is clearly completely in jail for Jaden. And where those balls are, even if you were to have access to play a cannon, you'd have to go into that pack with some considerable pace to be certain of getting the yellow out.
Extension call.
It's got a 2-frame lead with 12 minutes remaining, but that's not quite enough of a lead to be defending, even though, broadly speaking, Jaden will be happy with the two players that they've got embroiled in this rather cagey game. Wow, plays a very positive shot, but doesn't get the yellow out. The red's now not so bad. The only really bad red is the one below the cue ball. The other ones, one good cannon could open them up. He's got an angle to play the same shot again. Power the ball into the left centre and cannon into that cluster.
I'd come off the one at the bottom. Cut it into the bottom right-hand corner.
Lets you get more pace on it. That's a good chance as well. Just play this ball thin to the corner.
I think if you go off the one in the middle, if you hit that quite chunky, you can end up behind the reds. This way you can't. You can't sneak yourself.
Not turned out bad.
No, it's a chance.
Big frame now, given how much time has been used to play it. 3-frame lead as we go into the last 10 minutes of the match would be fairly big. So time for Shane to make something happen here. He doesn't want to give Jaden any more free shots at the yellows. The yellow closest to the middle of the table could be used to open up the right pocket if it needs opening up. Maybe the one that's nearest to the pocket goes anyway, the red. Yeah, it does.
So it's now 15 seconds a shot.
Which isn't ideal for the style of frame they're playing, because this is a position where you could well spend some more time needing to think about a shot.
Can't believe it hasn't gone in. Jaden probably wishes he wasn't queuing over this red ball, but you take this, if you can just pop this cue ball back out. She's got the angle to get back over.
Big moments, the difference between 5-4 and 6-3. Can Jaden find a way for these last 3 balls?
That's a great shot.
Played it really well.
He's okay. He has the angle. You can see he can pot this yellow bottom left, push a cue ball into the rail just before the middle back and come back up for the black ball. Into that top left-hand corner, and that's perfect. This for 6-3. Billingham getting very close to his first ever Pro Tour final.
This is a problem for Shane Thompson. 3 frames behind, 8 minutes 30 on the clock. This is not part of the script at all as far as he's concerned. The early part of the match, Shane looked to be up and running, and you fancied him reeling off a few frames, but it hasn't played out since then. So we come over to the second of our two semi-finals. Phil Harrison 2-0 up on Aaron Davies. The winner of this match will go through to the final to play the winner of the match that we've been watching. Phil Harrison looked to be playing pretty well when we saw him on the stream earlier. Maybe not his absolute A game, but seemed quite fluent. Not surprised to see he's making this deep run. "45-second shot clock on this table, so Phil afforded a bit more time. Time, though, is a commodity that Shane Thompson doesn't have a lot of. Needs to win a minimum of 3 more frames, 8.5 minutes in which to do it. That's plenty, but will he find the chances? Surely he hasn't gone dry there. Well, I think Shane can believe it. He's hit this pretty well. Ball's spreading around the table, but nothing goes in a pocket.
Extension call.
Yeah, the thumb. We saw that. I think it was 𝗨𝗃�10 yesterday in the women's when she had a dry break after moving everything around the table and gave the rack the thumbs up. Well, Shane Thompson just gave that break a thumbs up as well as Jaden Billingham gallops to the table.
No, he didn't mean it, and Shane definitely doesn't. Shane's really relying on a mistake now from Jaden. Jaden completes this clearance. 4-frame deficit is going to be really tough to overturn. Jaden's played some nice touches. He's done well at knocking out difficult balls. Just realised that he's running out of time, so he's going to have to get down and play this. It's a bit rushed there. He was okay with the pot, but didn't quite have time to settle his mind on the exact position. Still see the ball to the bottom left.
Of course, Jaden won't have had a lot of experience of this either. The old 15 seconds a shot. First year as a pro.
Yeah, he's played in a few Monday night events and a few of the events that will have used it, but yeah, nowhere near the experience of his opponent. Right now, though, it's the young man that holds the advantage. That seems to sum up his day. Just seems to keep ending up slightly out of position. May be able to pot this ball. Two yellows that are close together. I don't think you can quite see enough to get the potting angle of the lower one. Still got some other problems though. So pot bottom left and Cannon opened the other two balls. And again, that's just rested on the jaw of the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great pot, but just balls are not coming out for Shane.
Not getting any easier, even though he keeps potting. He feels he can just cut this in. He's going to have to play a good shot here, though. So you're looking at getting to the bottom right-hand corner of the table. Just wants this to pull up. That's gone too far. I have to play off the cushion now. Time running out. Well, hit the wrong. I think he's hit the wrong ball. Maybe he was playing for that one. I think he was probably playing for the lower one, trying to pot it bottom left.
Does Jaden take it on? He can play this cut with a red into the bottom left, come off the bottom rail, side and kick the yellow out of the way, which comes straight across and done it. That's not bad. Got the ball in the middle, angle to come down. You just drop this in, use the yellow to hold the cue ball for the black into the left-hand centre. 7, 3, 4 ahead. Coming into the last
Extension call.
3 minutes and a bit. And it goes
Right.
Jaden Billingham all but in the final.
3 minutes 51 remaining on the clock, but largely academic now with that 4-frame lead for Jaden. Aaron Davis very much not academic. He's 2 frames down, but he's at the table with a great chance for a clearance. Phil Harrison missing towards the end of his clearance. So it looks like this match is going to go 2-1. It is. Phil Harrison ahead still, but Aaron Davis gets his first frame on the board. Meanwhile, Shane Thompson back absolutely against the wall. It's his opponent's break. He's 4 frames down, and he's only got 3 minutes 51 remaining on the match clock. Chris Melling did 3 frames in 3 minutes, but surely 4 in 4 minutes is a bridge too far, especially now Jaden spotted a ball.
Well, that's it really. You look at stripes. I mean, you know what I mean. Yellows are easy. They're both colours have gone either side of the table.
Yeah, it's a bit like the situation Chris Melling had in the decider in the final. The ball split out really nicely. Doesn't really matter here because Jaden hasn't got to complete this clearance. Just stays at the table and pots a few more balls. That's plenty. He'd like to get to 8 though. He'll go for these balls. Red may still pass the yellow. Well, Shane really needs to play a loss of turn, but that's no good, so it decides to go with the next best option of offering his hand. So, a match that started with so much promise and started with the thought that safecracker Shane Thompson was going to open up an early lead and press on from there. Hasn't played out like that at all. Young Jaden Billingham forced his way into the match in the early going and got stronger and stronger as the match went on. He's going to be very satisfied with his afternoon's work. Jaden Billingham books his place in tonight's final.